creation of universe and life was begun. The man's interest was born of concern, fear, and curiosity. But it was changed, and answers were made about phenomena on earth and heaven through physics.
Optics, astronomy, geometry, and mechanics. Historically, physics were drawn primarily from those elements. While many observations were made about phenomena throughout Earth, the heavens were also observed. People wanted to know what is going on or why. Their interest was born of concern and fear as well as curiosity. They wanted to feel some degree of control of their lives, or at least be able to explain what was going on and why.
A Greek philosopher, said that the celestial objects above the moon were part of the heaven, called the Aethers. From the moon on down, everything was made of the four elements, consisting of earth, fire, water, and air.
Have you ever wondered what is beyond planet Earth? Our solar system. People have known about it since 200 BCE. Their idea of the solar system was very different from ours because it put the Earth in the middle, not the Sun. This theory was discovered by a man named Ptolemy, and he lived in ancient Greece. For many years, his theory of outer space satisfied people because it explained what they saw every night.
Each night they saw stars and planets in one position and one place per night. Every night the stars stayed in their position but changed places in the sky, while the planets changed place and position altogether. So Ptolemy thought that the Earth was in the center of everything, and the planets orbited around the Earth.
Even though this theory lasted 1,400 years, it was eventually proved wrong. Now, everyone believes in the heliocentric theory, which means sun-centered.
Nicholas Copernicus discovered this theory. Copernicus was a Polish scientist who was never believed about his ideas, until Galileo proved him right. He saw 4 moons revolving around Jupiter, and that Venus goes through the same phases similar to the moon. The heliocentric theory says that the sun is in the center and planets orbit around it.
Today, with all this technology around us, including telescopes, it is easy to tell that the heliocentric model is more accurate.
Archimedes discovered that this buoyant force is equal to the weight of water displaced by the hull. That's Archimedes' principle. The buoyant force acts like it is concentrated at the center of the submerged hull, a point called the center of buoyancy. And the kayak will float as long as the load is lighter than the maximum weight of water the hull can displace.
Sir Isaac Newton was a scientist who lived from 1642 to 1727. He developed the 3 basic laws of motion and published them in 1687 in a 3-volume work called the Principia Mathematica.
Here is where the story of the falling apple comes from. While we won't really ever know whether he was actually struck by an apple, We do know that what got him thinking about gravity were questions such as, if the matter and the moon are both affected by gravity, then why does only the apple fall to Earth and not the moon? He took and built upon their way of thinking about forces and motion, and investigated the concept of force much further, developing his new law of motion.
We now know that we can generate current using magnetic fields, but we can also generate magnetic fields using current. How does this happen? As current is passed through a wire, it creates a magnetic field. Where this gets interesting is when we put a loop or turn in the wire. Now, when we pass current through this loop of wire, a magnetic field is generated with an orientation that looks like this. By simply adding more loops to the coil, we can generate a more concentrated magnetic field inside the coil without having to adjust the current. This is what is known as an electromagnet. The field can also be increased by adding more current or decreasing the radius of the loop. Likewise, the field can be decreased by lowering the current and increasing the radius.
It followed from the special theory of relativity that mass and energy are but different manifestations of the same thing, a somewhat unfamiliar conception for the average mind. Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared, in which energy is put equal to mass multiplied with the square of the velocity of light, showed that very small amount of mass may be converted into a very large amount of energy, and vice versa. The mass and energy were in fact equivalent, according to the formula mentioned above. This was demonstrated by Prokrat and Walton in 1932 experimentally.